In today's video, I am going to be sharing 3 reasons why most people don't achieve success. So many people are aware that 95% of all businesses fail. If you weren't aware, that's quite a big number, right? 95% of all businesses fail. But I'm also not just talking in a case of business here. I'm talking about fitness goals. Why don't most people achieve or become successful with their health or fitness goals? So many people say, oh, I'd like to run the marathon. How many people actually do? So on this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 reasons, 3 powerful observations as to why most people don't achieve success. 3 reasons that I've not only learned and understood, because it's something that I had to change, work on and improve in my journey in order to be able to achieve what I want, but also something from so many mentors, millionaire mentors, successful people, those that have achieved what's important to them. I've noticed that there is a pattern, there is something that they all do. So I'm going to share with you what most people don't do. And number 1, numero. I did that the wrong way around. Numero uno is to work on you. To work on yourself. Most people do not take the time to work on themselves. They're existing, they're constantly doing, maybe relaxing sometimes, but it's always for knowledge or in an area for somebody else, in a job, in work. But most people don't take that time to get to understand themselves, to know themselves, to identify their strengths and their weaknesses, to be able to have that growth, solution-focused mindset, which also, bonus tip, all successful people, everybody that's achieved what they want to from a business point of view and other areas of their life, but especially within business, have always had that growth, solution-focused mindset. So there's a little bonus tip for you. And we're only at the beginning of the video, so how cool is that? But that is number 1. Now, because you're watching this video, I guess that you are taking time to work on yourselves. Maybe it was just a one-off, oh, what's this video about? And click on it. But that is key. Working on yourself, not just at one webinar, not just at one event, not one book. In exactly the same way, if you were training your body for a marathon or for to lose weight, you don't go to the gym once and then ta-da! I've got the most amazing body and I'm fit for life. No, of course not. You have to be consistent with it. And it's exactly the same when you're working on you. Take time every day. Every day. If you don't have 10 minutes for yourself, then you don't have a life. And I'd also challenge how often the TV's on, how often you're having moments of procrastination, how often you're scrolling on social media. There is always time for you in a day. That's simply what I'm trying to get across here. Take time to work on yourself, to read something, to listen to something, to learn something inspirational, motivational, and educational every single day. Part of the reason, yes, some of you will recognize that slogan, part of the reason that we have this channel, so that I can share something every day that's been powerful in mine and many others' journey in order to hit and live that life that's important to you, to be able to create your life by design and live as that best version of you, if you want to. If not, this channel probably isn't for you. Switch off now. It's been a pleasure. But for those of you that are interested in being able to get that confidence and better results in your life and live that happy, exciting, successful life, whatever that means to you, but to be able to give yourself that life by design, you've got to be able to keep growing you. It's not about the goal, it's always about the role. Who do you have to become in order to live that lifestyle that you deserve? So number 1, most people do not take time to work on themselves. So number 1 tip to become is to work on yourself every single day. Be working on you. Number 2, most people do not create a disciplined habit for themselves. I spoke about this very briefly on a live video yesterday. Most people do not have, they might have a routine in terms of perhaps their job or certain TV programs, or what time they leave for work, what time they come home for work, what time they take the dog or the cat out, what time they feed the fish, what time they do certain things with their children, like putting them to bed. But most people don't have a routine of disciplined habits when it comes to growth in certain areas of your life. Again, let's use exercise and fitness because that's a very relatable example. When somebody wants to get fit or they want to lose weight, more often than not, they do not take the time to create a disciplined routine, disciplined habits, and stick to them each and every single day. Now, I know that there's some of you out there that might go to the gym every single day, and if you do, massive well done to you. Think about another area, perhaps if it's work or business. If you're trying to build a bigger following or you're trying to get more sales, are you consistent with your marketing? Let's spin this out to different areas of your life. But most people don't create disciplined habits. And by having disciplined habits of yourself, i.e. meaning that you are consistent, if you are consistent and persistent in that going to the gym, in that exercise, in that diet, in that social media, in your marketing, whatever it might be, if you create that habit so that you become consistent and persistent, it is only a matter of time. Maybe you might need to change your approach within that. Maybe there's a different way of doing things, which is going to lead on to point number 3 in a minute. But it's about having that persistence and consistency of your habits, and most people do not do that. And if you don't have disciplined habits, if you're not consistent, then you're not going to get the result that you're searching for, or perhaps the bigger idea that you know is possible, but you just haven't achieved it yet because you haven't been consistent and disciplined with your habits. So that's number 2. And number 3 is most people do not invest in the right knowledge to be able to do what it is they want to. So perhaps it's, for example, my journey of becoming an international speaker. For a long time, I didn't invest in a speaker mentor or a speaker package. Thankfully, I was investing in the world of personal development, so I started to understand creating a growth mindset, being solution focused, having morning routines, etc., etc., etc. And within that environment, I came across having speaker mentors, and eventually I did invest in that. And investing in a mentor, investing in online courses that allowed me to listen to other speakers' ideas, tips, and ways of improving as a speaker and becoming a world-class speaker. Because I invested in having that knowledge, I was able to then create the action, the aligned action, and the disciplined habits that I needed to implement in order to be able to achieve that. But most people won't go and invest in the knowledge. So many of us have this opinion of, I can do that, I can do that. Or we go and ask our family and our friends. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that your family and your friends should never give you advice. I'm sure that there are certain things that your family and your friends are beautiful, spot on, and perfect for, to give you that guidance, that advice, that reassurance, that support, whatever it is that you need in that moment. And maybe for some of you, they aren't. But there is always somebody that can support you and guide you. This channel, for example, if you really are somebody that is watching this that doesn't have anybody to bounce ideas off, ask advice, ask opinion, then just subscribe to this channel, connect with me on Facebook. We are all about rising together. So you now have somebody. Borrow my belief while you're building your belief, and it's all about us being able to grow together. But most people do have friends or family that they can go and ask for advice or ask ideas. Now, I just want you to think about something. How many of you have done exactly that? Now, going back to my example of this journey, when I first thought about becoming an international speaker, and then I had found this speaker mentor and had this idea of a speaking and coaching business, I went home to speak to my family about it. Now, my parents are very successful in their own business, and it's taken them a long, persistent, consistent time to get there. They've worked so hard, incredibly hard. They've inspired me with their work ethic on getting there. However, they have never been an international speaker. That wasn't their path. That wasn't what was right for them. And yet, at the beginning of my journey to become that, I went to go and ask them advice because, of course, they're my parents and I look up to them and they give me advice on other things. So I went to them for advice on the speaker journey. Now that is the tip. That's the biggest tip here, is most people do that. But do you think my parents were able to give me really solid guidance and knowledge about becoming a speaker? Of course not. Why? Because with all the amazing other skills that they do have, this wasn't an area that they had done. This wasn't an area that they'd lived. In fact, this isn't an area that they had any friends who were living. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally cool. They're just in a different area. But why would they be the right person to give me that knowledge and give me that advice? So of course, it might not be that you need to invest in somebody for that. Maybe you do have a friend. Perhaps you're trying to design a book cover, but you're not the drawer. You're incredibly creative with the story and the content within your sharing, or you're knowledgeable in an area and you're giving more facts and content. So you know how to do that, but perhaps you lack the creative side on what's going to work with your illustrations. So if you have a friend who is an illustrator or a designer for the cover, perfect. They're going to be great at giving you advice or perhaps even designing it for you. But my point is, you go to somebody who has that knowledge. And if that isn't a friend or a family member, then it might be the point where you invest in yourself. So many people think, why would I give my money away to somebody else? I'm just fueling their business. Well, of course you are, but that's life. There'll be something that they can invest in you for too. It might be that you're working for a job in another company, but everybody is always spending and investing in some way, in one way or another. But the beauty in my thoughts, and I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong, who is right or wrong, and you don't have to take on board my opinion or my thoughts, but for me, I really valued being able to invest in somebody that had walked the path, i.e. had the knowledge in the area that I wanted to go into. And from this journey and from speaking, whenever I get the opportunity, I'm always asking questions. By the way, another tip there. There is no such thing as a silly question. Ask your question. You never, ever know that one answer may catapult an area of your life and really massively help you. So always ask your questions. And that's exactly what I do in situations of meeting those that have achieved what's important to them and become that confident version of themselves and living that life that they desire, happy every day. And that was one of my biggest questions and my biggest observations, was that if you want to excel, if you want to do well in a particular area, invest in somebody that has already done exactly that, so that you're able to model success, learn, perhaps even take a shortcut to achieving what you want. Because more often than not, if we take our friends and family's advice, hello, back again, the battery just cut out. So just as I was about to finish that sentence and wrap up this video, we had to stop shooting. So did my nails for a little bit, had a call, and now wrapping up this video. So I was just in the middle of sharing that friends and family, we go to them for advice. And yes, sometimes it can be really helpful, but more often than not, they're giving you advice based on their current knowledge and what they know. So in the long run, you're going to be spending a lot more time, a lot more headache, sometimes putting more finance into the business than if you just thought, oh, I can invest in somebody for the knowledge and the guidance that's already done this, already got the results, and maybe save a lot of time and finance in the future. So those are 3 things that most people do not do, but all people that are achieving what they want and getting success absolutely do. I didn't know whether or not to go, all successful people do. And then I wondered how many of you would go, do. Anyway, just a little silly thing to wrap up this video and say, if it has been of any help, any benefit at all, then please give it the thumbs up, comment below, let me know where you're watching from. This is just one of many videos in 2019, because I have committed to doing daily videos of inspiration, education, and motivation so that we can rise together. So if you're not already, then hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it for your daily notification. And guys, I will see you on the next video.